Simple drills equal fast swimming. Whenever I've filmed Olympic level swimmers, quite often they're all doing very similar drills. And they're not just doing that because that's just what they were taught. They're often doing it because there are a couple of drills that, if done really well, have a great correlation between your swimming technique. So a lot of the drills that I see Olympic level swimmers doing, particularly for freestyle, a lot of them are doing sculling drills, single arm drills, and something like long dog paddle or underwater recovery freestyle. They're the main drills I see Olympic level swimmers doing as part of their warm up, because it can set up all those key things that they're working on: lengthen the stroke, good catch and pull, the right rotation, and connection within the stroke. So if you've got a good staple of drills that you can do as part of your warm-up each session, and you know how you need to be doing them, then that can go a very long way to helping you progress in your swimming.
Hey, yo, sorry about this. This is in retrospect after the video is filmed, so greetings from the future. So the video content, I went and found it. It was effortless swimming. And, shout out to him. When he saw it, I'm out here trying to lop these heads off and take over the swim game. So when he said the thing about simple swimming, I was just like, that's like, because I'm always thinking about, like you're going to see in the video, the bottom 60% of the talent, right? And I know for a fact it don't work, right? What he says. But when I think about it, like almost instantly right after I thought about it, I was like, well, I do have my key drills, which is what you're going to see in the content, where like you learn all these things so you can do these drills. And so I think he's right overtly, right? They are doing these simple drills, and I talk about all this, and you're going to see. But, these world-class athletes figure out all the, I think I counted up to 10 skills, right? In like a one-arm butterfly drill. They figure out all the pieces naturally. Whereas you're going to find your core 60%, and, I'm sure as a coach we can all attribute, or we've all seen this, can verify this, in that bottom 60% of talent group that most of us are coaching. We're not usually coaching the top 10% of athletes in the world. We see some of them really get it, and then like the 10% people don't get it, or get it maybe like 10% of the drill correct. And then the bottom 10%, the island of broken toys, they don't get nothing, right? They just kind of get left behind and thrown in the trash. And my goal is to service all those people by finding leakages in these drills, like you're going to see me talk about. And he says a key part, he says making sure you know how to do the drills. And this is where I think it's fun. I love language. I think you can tell a lot about what people think about, how they think, what they've been through language. And he says how to do the drills correctly. And he said there's a lot of things to be gained from how to do the drills correctly. Yeah, but the how teaches you how to do the things. That's like the feature, right? I talk about you're going to see the cause, the feature, and the aesthetic. And I think a lot of drills teach the aesthetic. The athletes figure out the feature, but they don't figure out the cause or the thing that they actually need to harness and train. And that allows them to recruit muscles to make power to go faster. And that's what we're about. And that's why my gut reaction was like, no, that's wrong, because I've done that. And the bottom 60% of your talent group, yeah, you're going to see some people actually get it. That doesn't still translate to performance. Top level performance, which is what we're trying to do, right? Not just performance. And then it leaves a lot of people behind. So you're lying, like that's incorrect. That was my gut reaction. But I was like, no, like I do promote simple drills, but we're not going to take the chance that these athletes figure it out on their own, right? We're going to make sure that they get the 10 individual things they need from the simple 3 drills that you're going to see as we move forward. So once again, sorry, this is kind of came out late. I wish it was kind of in the middle so I could give him his props and it look not messy like it does now. But yeah, man, drop a like, make sure you subscribe to all those notifications. Enjoy the video. What's up, y'all? So, I'm trying to figure out new ways to push this content out. Like I said, this Reykli Technique Solutions content, it's the future. But a big part of that is you need to raise an army, you know what I'm saying? So getting this information, getting people to support it so I can move this process along faster. And people say support, let's be real, money. I think people ask for support but don't give anything back. So it ain't no dry begging going on. Ain't no begging at all. You get the best product back at a cheap price. It's definitely, I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole about what it's worth or what it'll should cost. But we have our normal drills, right? Catch-up drill, your normal breaststroke drills, tube kicks, two breaths or two pulls, whatever you want to call it. Flutter breast, butterfly. We got our 1 arm fly. We got our 2-2-2 drill. Let me make sure I pick the right one over here. So what I want to talk about is, right, so we have these world-class athletes, right? And they learn these techniques and take it and do great things, like just say catch-up drill, right? And like no athlete should ever swim catch-up drill, right? So you have to ask yourself, at least as a coach and as an athlete, like, what's the purpose of this? Well, it's to kick, right? It's to force you to drive your legs harder if you want to go faster. And in that regard, it's a great drill, right? Getting your kids to do that. But then you say, okay, well, we've got, what else is going on in here? We have pulling through the kick. We have pulling through the recovery, so making sure the kick doesn't stop to lift the arm out. We have taking breaths without your kick stopping. We have not over rotating so that the feet drown. We have making sure that the feet don't slip out in front of the athlete and they twitch like a rudder and use the kick for balance. There's just too many things that you're leaving up to chance that this world-class athlete figured out on their own because they wanted to be the best, right? And in my experience, and I think everybody who's listening to this will find it to be theirs also, the top 10% of talent usually does not become our Olympians, right? They're usually the kids that was too easy or they're too athletic for swimming and went on and played a real sport. Yeah, I said it. And your real talented athletes, I truly believe this, come from like your 75% to, let's say 50% of your talent group, right? So they're in that core talent group. And the reason I say that is because they're good enough to achieve success through hard work, right? They have enough talent. I always say that's the word. They're actually having to work for it because while they have this like innate hate for the kids who don't, right? So they're chasing somebody. They have a chip on their shoulder, which is a requirement for all sports, success in all sports. You give them something, they're going to take to it because they're chasing something, right? They ain't going to second guess it, which, is an issue, can be an issue in itself. And I think in a lot of cases, they may have, I'm going to say measurables that are holding them back. Like, so in my case, right, I was too big. I was 6'8", 190 pounds, but I couldn't bench 120, right? I could, leg press over 500 pounds, but bench press and pulling, not my deal, right? I just learned in this, I'm 34 now. I learned this year that when you do pull-ups, you're supposed to do this. I just learned this, right? So imagine how bad it was back then, right? And I think that there's kids like that who don't achieve as high as the super talented kids, but then when they, they're working hard, they're getting the technique down, and then they get stronger, and all of a sudden you say that, oh, Dax has a world-class talent. He's 6'8", 7'2" wingspan, super strong legs, great work ethic, student of the game. He's an elite talent. And it's like, nah, I had elite measurements. Like my brother would be an elite talent, 6'2", 180 pounds, out benching the entire UT swim team as a freshman. Right? That's talent, right? Vlad Morzal, 5'11", 18'6". That's talent. So anyway, you have those 1 in a million swimmers. I'll say whatever. You have that 1% and that 10% that maybe make it out and have good work ethics, but a lot of times most of your talent group has enough talent and they're outworking their talent. Because even I truly believe this, the elite talent kids, they think they're working hard because they're trying 10%. I think this is 90%, especially on the girls' side, people who have imposter syndrome, right? They think they're working hard because they're killing everybody in practice, but to themselves, they're not going all out. Right? I remember when I made a national select camp, I believe it was, and I was the hardest worker on my club team, but we're only doing 50s, right, all out. And I get to the camp, and I'm in the last lane. Shout out to Woody, shout out to Miles Joy, Texas freshman, U of A grad, and we're in the last 2 lanes, just getting our teeth kicked in, and I was the first time I was man, I thought I was working hard. This is what it looks like, right? So I do think that even happens to the super talented kids who are on the opposite end of the spectrum, where they're working so hard or they're outperforming everybody to such a degree that they think they're working hard, but they really have no idea what working hard actually feels like, because to them and to their coach, they're killing everybody. Why would a coach not think they're working hard? They're destroying everybody, right? So I truly believe that about talent groupings and success. But anyway, let's bring this back. Sorry. Those of you who know me or followed me, tangents happen a lot. Okay, but they're required to complete the original thought. So the original thought on drills. Most people are not in that elite talent group. And a drill like catch-up drill, well, I guess we're going to go one-arm fly. There are so many pieces that go into one-arm fly that you can maximize to a sure performance, right? So like in this case, the AA content is what we're looking at, but we're looking at the key drills. So these are like your normal drills, but we're going to go over all the things that you can do in the drills that have individual skills that they can learn how to access their strength, how to move their body, and all, let's just say 5 skills in the one-arm fly that the athlete needs to be cognizant of, or as a coach you need to be cognizant of, and reminding your athletes, everybody's going to have something off, but to make sure that they develop. And I say that, and I know this because, right, if you think about the world-class talent stuff, right, that's the people that I learned under. Let's just say top 1%ers, right? And performers, gold medalists, world record holders, coaches. Yes, Dexel was here. And obviously their information works for them, right? But I found that when I took their information, similar to these, elite swimmers who go to have a camp or go to a clinic and tell this, we're going to do one-arm fly. And it's like, yo, we do one-arm fly. Like, I didn't learn anything. And even that happens at these conferences, but that's another story for another time. So yeah, welcome to the winning team. If you're fed up with that, join us. But like they figure out all these little things, or maybe there's another drill that they learn one thing that in their full stroke puts it together. And with your lower class groups, like most of us aren't coaching the top 10% of athletes in the world. Most of us probably aren't even coaching the top 20. Maybe we have one of the top 30. Right? Who makes winter juniors or summer juniors, but isn't good enough. He's not UT good. He's not Cal Berkeley good, right? He's not Florida good, right? Top 30% of talent. So most of us are coaching at 60% and less, right? So are you willing to risk it that this guy comes in and has y'all do one-arm fly and all the parts of it that can be optimized, your bottom 60% talent group is going to get that all. They won't. All right, I know I've tried it, and when I try to do these drills knowing that, okay, in the butterfly drill, we need to make sure we do all these things. We do one-arm fly, and nothing goes on. And it's like, oh, dang, I need to actually explain, like, you need to move your knees like this. You need to move your head like this. You need to pull at this time, right? There's all these, I call them leakages, that an elite talent athlete in swimming, right, naturally will figure out. Right, like I figured out a lot of stuff on my own with butterfly. My butterfly it's mechanically terrible, but your elite athletes will figure this out. And I've seen through my own eyes that most of the athletes in that bottom 60, and if you're a bottom 60%, which most of us are, that means the bulk of your athletes are probably the 50. Like your top 1%ers are the top end of that 60%. They're not even in that top 1%, 10%, 20. You see what I'm saying? So you're probably working with your middle of your group, your core group, I call it. Your middle 80% of talent is probably 50% of the world's talent to what? 20%, 25, or 15, I'm sorry. 15 to 20%, right? And then you have the bottom of the barrel, right? So the techniques can't have leakages for these guys, right? You have to make sure that everything that works is propulsive, and then none of the stuff that causes them to create an unnecessary drag that a world-class athlete can get away with. I was one of them who got away with a lot of bad habits because I just didn't know. Obviously, I do now, and I make my, excuse me. Sorry about that, guys. I make my pain my mission, make my failure my mission, and it's like, why run the risk, right? And as a coach, it was just like, yo, you can just take the extra time to figure this out. And I've never been a guy who wanted the results right away. And my whole life, I'd say, can be exemplified by, yeah, I'm gonna let you get ahead with me while I stay back and figure this out, but I'm gonna blow by you. At some point, it's gonna happen. It may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, it may not be next year, but you're gonna look up and wonder how the hell I got so far ahead of you. And I ain't turning back. All right, once I got you down, I'm stepping on that throat. And I truly believe that with the content, a lot of people are not willing to, especially the people at the top of the mountain, they don't have time to come down the mountain and figure out what their leakages are. To them, it's a waste of their time. They got world-class athletes they got to handle. Luckily, we here. So I want to go into this fly drill. So it goes over the key drills, right? I don't know how I'm going to get this to play correctly and get the sound. So what we're going to try is through my mic. I feel like that's a bad idea. Yeah, we're going to try. You know what? I know exactly how to do this. Okay, so we're going to let it run. Make sure it plays first. Of the strokes with our key drills, mainly using the. For butterfly, we are driving the propulsive elements of the strokes with our key drills, mainly using the kick correctly and the pull correctly. Our first one is knee bend. If I look like I'm tired, I probably am. A lot of these videos were made on staying up 2-3 days in a row, just cranking, just working. So if I look a little dead in the eyes, I probably am. Kick, where we are going to be using and driving the stroke from the knees to produce both body positioning and propulsion. This is going to allow the athlete to work on their sit back at the engine of the stroke and their breathing when done correctly. You can progress this into your sit back and their breathing when done correctly. It's also going to develop their up kick, their tempo if they do it fast enough, right? So just off of that one drill, right? That's obviously not a common drill. That's a Reykli common drill. You can work on 4 things. You can optimize 4 leakages. All right, now we're on the one arm fly. One arm fly. The second drill will be the hammerhead drill. The reason the hammerhead drill is so important is because it is textbook flutter fly. But we are working on the timing of the stroke, so your athlete will get to work on their pulling. They'll get to work on making sure they have their soft hand recovery. And like I said before, their breathing timing relative to the pull and the recovery. Then finally, we have our chest skull. The chest skull is one of my favorite drills because it definitely emphasizes the rhythm of the head up, butt up tandem. And then additionally, you can add the knee bend kicks to it to further emphasize the breathing body position and connecting it to the stroke. But my favorite part is that you use the knee bend kick to get the chest down and the arms and the pinkies in that soft hand position that we are looking for in an efficient trainable butterfly with the chest down, the butt up, and the hands high. Right, so we have the head up, butt up drill where you're working on the breath timing because a lot of people will take that second kick when the hips are flat and then lift the head up second. If you actually did that in a real stroke, you would be kick the hands in, pull, and then you would have the kick when the hips are flat and your head would lift up here, right? That's like one of the one of the greatest errors that developing flyers have, and even people beyond developing flyers, right? If we're being honest, up to 18 years old. So there's one, right? Your breath timing. You have your up kick, right? When you get your butt up, and then when you do that backflip, which makes the feet pop up, there's your up kick. You have your tempo. If you're driving through your knees, you can learn how to drive your tempo through sprint fly. What did I just say? Breathing, tempo, up kick. You have your body positioning, right? Flat hips, butt up, and the alternation. Let's see if there's anything else. Oh, and to a degree posture, right? Because if they go down and they're curled, they're going to end up too deep. So you got to learn how to curl and get down, but keep your chest going up so you pop back up. So there's 5 things that the athlete can work on in one drill, right? And optimize. Then you have your one arm fly. So you have all 5 of those things again, but now you have the actual timing with the arms. Right now, in this AA content, which is, I didn't know if I said this, but it's pretty much what you're supposed to know graduating from high school, right? If you're a swimmer going to college. And I'd say like I fell into this category of athletes. When I got to college, I'd say I knew the world-class stuff. I learned it through watching film and talking to my mentors, but I didn't know how it worked. So I had the knowledge, but not necessarily, it's like having a bowl of soup and I don't know which tool to use for what's in the soup, right? And I get to David and David's like, you're eating soup with a knife sideways, right? And now I understand like how all the stuff I learned in college is supposed to be used. World class would be your AAA. High school stuff would be, and the stuff that most people in college learn. Like I said, that's what I executed in high school for a large part or in college is a large part of what I learned in high school. That's your AA content. And then you have what's probably taught to almost everybody in the swimming world is the BB content, right? Now, this stuff has been purposed to where the BB content is in the motor skills of 8 and unders. And if they are 8, 9 and unders, right? And by the age of 9, if they get good at those skills, they're going to go BB times. That bottom 60% is going to go BB times, okay? You add in the AA content, you're going to start seeing AA times from that bottom 60%, right? Bottom 60% AAA, boom, right? For 13 and up, sorry. Now, the reason why it says those ages and those times is because, like I said, most of us aren't working with that top end talent, or you have 1 or 2 of those kids. And the leakages that are going to be plugged, when it gets to those kids, they're going to be balling outrageous. All right. And I'd say that's where my top 50 nationally ranked kids, top 20, top 10, whatever it is, that's where they come in because they get those skills where they're swimming with complete efficiency of effort into power. And it's a beautiful thing. But so we sit 1 arm fly, and the last one was chest skull, right? Where you can do your breath timing. You can do, so everything that's in the knee bend kicking, right? The first drill. So all 5 of those. You have the soft hands, which is the chest skull, which when you get here, you're supposed to pull the arms back. The same way with on your fly, you're supposed to go down and try and leave the hand up behind the ear. Soft hands, so there's 6. Posture, because now you're landing in that open chest position. And the feet, butt pull, which technically I guess goes into the 1 arm swim. So that's actually a 7 skill also. So this is also a 7 individual skills. So with just those 3 drills, you get to work on everything you need for fly, right? And like those are all potential leakages in your strokes. Right now I said 7 things, right? That there's only, I don't know if I can show it. I'm trying to give away the secret to the sauce. Let's see. How do we do this without blowing out everything on my computer? Yeah, I think this is safe to show. Let's close this down. Oh, I can't close it down. Can I? Nope. Dang it. Give me a second, guys. I don't know how to do this. Keep everybody's information off my screen. Give me a second, guys. Okay, here we go. All right, so let's see. Yeah, this is solid. Let me make sure. Yeah, this works. Okay, so, oh my goodness. Of course it does this. Give me a second, guys. This is Bush League Amateur Hour over here. Okay, here we go. All right, so, wait, what? Okay, sorry about that. There we go. All right, so you can see over here, there's only, let's see, 1. So then we had a 7 things skill. So we have 1 hammerhead is meant to work on your pull breath recovery timing. Recovery. Or no, pulling, sorry. Recovery. So that's 3. 4, 5. And I'm sure there's more if I sit down and think about it. But just off there, right, we have 7 key skills broken down into 5, or accumulated into 5, which really it's probably around 3 if you take the pull and make it arms. If you make breathing its own thing, which I think is totally fair. And then the engine of the stroke, that's your knee bend kick, which technically can be the hips back, but we'll say 4 because you need the sit back skill to separate it and make the stroke work, have it guaranteed to work. So we got 4 things, all right? Arms, sit back, knee bend kick, and your breathing, right? Those 4 things are filtered down into 3 skills. Or not 3 skills, sorry. Those 7 things are filtered down into 3 skills, but you get to make sure you practice all 7 when you do those 3 key drills, right? The head up, butt up, one arm fly, and chest skull, right? So when you're coaching, it like everybody's going to have their natural proclivities, and then you're going to have your group error that they all don't get. Now, instead of catch-up drill, and then you're just mad at them because they're doing one-arm fly right, you can pinpoint the exact thing that they need to do to get better, that you've seen them mess up in the meet. Their knees froze up. They stopped their timing. They're not doing their, it's 8 because I forgot the butt, feet. Yeah, there's a lot more than, it's probably 10. So 10 skills filtered down to 4 skills that you can hit all 10 things in 3 drills, right? So, right, somebody may not be able to have a quick enough butt or pause, butt, feet, pull, right? Butt comes up, feet come up, pull, which is like, that's how I teach it for the 10 to 12s, right? And that's something you can target individually because that's where their up kick comes on. It's also when that butt foot comes up, the faster they can do that, the more explosive up kick they have, and the sooner they can get into the next pull and drive their tempo, which also means that they need to have faster knees, right? So you're now actually coaching. Person X, butt breathe, feet breathe, get the tempo up, or get her quicker. Person 2, I need to see that Y at the top of the stroke, not an I. I need it wide, I need it deeper. Chest skull, we're doing the chest skull. I need to see your pinkies on the surface when you press your chest out. Person Z, right? So, and I found that like when you do that, because like it's a beautiful thing too, because so many of your athletes, like they're all going to have certain things they're good at, and then they're going to have these individual things that when you get that individual thing out the way, it's crazy. Like, and this is where I say there's the thing, the cause, the feature, and then the symptom. Or not the symptom, the aesthetic. You'll get one thing right on the cause, and it just cleans up everything, right? And some of y'all have seen this, but the thing is most coaches will try to fix it from the aesthetic, and then it accidentally makes a good feature, but the athlete doesn't have control over the cause, which is bending the knees where they can then recruit their thigh muscles and their glute muscles and their low back and their hamstrings. You see what I'm saying? And that's just too many orders of proofs, too many orders of, I don't know if consequences isn't the right word, but actions, benefits, that like I am unwilling to leave the chance. I'm unwilling to deliver to you as something that is not included because that just was time. Figuring that out is just time. And I think as an athlete, like you should be coaching the way you live. And I refuse to lose because I didn't spend enough time on something. All right. I refuse to lose because I didn't pay attention to detail, and I knew I should have, and I didn't do it. Right. So for me, making sure that you guys get these things is worth it. Right. Optimize every single piece of the stroke so that when they're doing one arm fly, they got 7 things that they need to get good at. Right. Now they may have 2 that they're good at. They may have another 2 that you determine are like the key things, and you get those 2 down, all of a sudden the other 3 are gone. Right. And now you're actually coaching the drill. It ain't easy being cheesy, dog. But yeah, guys, let me know in the comments what y'all think. You know, am I full of hot air talking about finding all the leakages in these world-class strokes so that way that your athlete can actually benefit from the 10 things and butterfly that they learned just by doing one-arm fly, but didn't tell you that they figured it out because all they know is one-arm fly gave me it all. But your bottom 60% ain't gonna figure it out because they ain't the best athletes. Let me know. Maybe I'm tripping. Peace, guys.